and hopefully I didn't take a photo of myself. It's going. All right, cool. I gotta set aside all trust issues with my devices and have faith. So let's get into it. I got some coffee in me today. I've had some food, and I'm just gonna do a little overview, I guess. When I think of the YouTube channel, I'm just like, let's say just like, um, it's something. It's action and a lesson, which is constructive, so that's cool. Uh, Other than that, it feels like I would say too soon. At the same time, it just seems like something where I should have something to bring to the table rather than just chatting for my own sake, for myself as a foundation. I feel like it's easy to get inside your head outside of some kind of not say outside of some kind of art, because if, like, let's say me talking to a camera and sharing it is considered art, I'm articulating my thoughts or where I'm at right now, what I want to share. Then yeah, versus painting, I enjoy painting. Your face isn't on it. Not in a way. I guess it's just an ego challenge. So, other than that, life's been not bad. I've gotten to grow and experience more and feel how I feel about things that maybe I thought were. You'll think something is the reason why X isn't happening, and then you feel that imaginary void of what you think you need for X to happen. Then here you are, and then X is not happening, and it's all your own hunger that's gonna cause you to eat. So one thing that's got to be one thing I'm realizing with stuff that I've been focusing on lately. Uh, since I've stopped doing the daily 90-day challenge blogs, uh, I've gotten to experience a good amount. I haven't gotten out too much, but the one time I did for music, it was really nice and constructive, and I got to taste a little bit of how things kind of are, which is really nice. Uh, each time I get to go experience music culture, uh, which is mainly just bass music. It's what I care about most and enjoy making. Each time I taste it, I get to kind of clarify how I wish to, let's say, service the community. And it's nice. Then you come home and you're a little heated up, ready to go, warm, like you have an idea of what maybe you wish to focus on. And then you go to sleep and you wake up, and it's not the same. Every day that I wake up, I think that my life is just different. And it's like finding out what you really value, which I don't know how to explain it, because it's almost like the challenge of if you set too big of goals, they can almost seem too, I don't say daunting, but like I'm gonna manifest $100 million. That's like your ambition, and you're focusing on it, you're seeing it, you're feeling like you have it, and then you spend the next year not making one. So it's like I don't want to use the word realistic, but I think that there has to be some kind of like natural inherent drive and hunger to doing something. And when I share stuff, it kind of takes it from me, because I think there's people out there that I do know that kind of join the party, if I'm to say, start sharing stuff randomly here. And it doesn't really bother me, because I feel like I've stripped myself of everything to just kind of start with a foundation of like, okay, here you go, blank foundation, not at any kind of what is the word? Where you start off behind. Disadvantage. I wanted to say disposition. I don't think that's the case. So yeah, it's different. The new flavor of the month for what I think I need to have, what I wish to work towards, is my own piece, my own like individual estate. So my own independence has become the new value, which I've always had this value, but it's growing more refined because you're like, oh yes, moving out and having a roommate and being in a community of like some kind of like apartment, on top of that renting. I'm independent. I'm on my own. Like I'm not not with the people who gave birth to me on some like how do I say it? Because it's dependency regardless of how you look at it. Then you leave. And even then, even if you go to some school, you're depending on them to teach you how to live life the way that you're visualizing. And it could be unhealthy because then you're around other people and you're almost like dominated by pleasing those around you mixed with hoping you're properly being taught. And I've never been in a educational environment where I've felt properly taught. The only time I felt properly taught was when I had earned enough money to feel that I didn't have to ever really work again. So I came back and moved to Michigan. Well, I moved back to Michigan where I grew up. And I just began, I never really got into weed much. I began smoking. And it was great when you're with yourself and you're smoking because you're essentially stripping yourself of everything that's not you. So you're really just being yourself from a foundation point. And I was drawn to lapidary work, studying supernatural stuff, and just elements from the earth, gems, metals, and just fine rare materials, and design, fancy design, and yeah, I like painting with audio waves, and that's kind of fun for me. And but the thing is, once you're kind of with yourself and in a place of actually feeling abundant and let's say not worrying, just I think that's the independence thing where you're not dependent on something, because say you have debts or things that you pay for, rent, monthly expenses, you say you're dependent on income to mask that so that you can afford yourself time. So if you don't have that, let's say, taken care of, then you find yourself pinged by having to do something for the sake of these obligations that yesterday's you has accepted. And it can take from you, and I think derail you from where you maybe should be spending time. So when I've most felt abundant, I began studying things I cared about. I was just naturally drawn to the library. I remember I checked out like 50 books and she thought I was joking. And then I just looked through them and took down notes on stuff that I wanted to know about and just got lost in curiosity. And now I've felt so alive. I've never felt so alive. And that is really valuable to me. And I think from that standpoint is where it's most valuable to begin. And so financial independence is a part of independence. And oh gosh, what did I note down? I don't think this was no, that is not the notepad. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm kind of redefining what independence means to me. And I'm getting new ambitions to have something for myself that at the same time, that desire seems to be masking the whole just show up to your discipline for your ambitions or your goals. Because I just don't feel like myself when I'm in the situation where I have some kind of weird weight on me or I'm around others that don't operate the same way that I do. And I'm a little different. So there's that. But it's like an era of me kind of like it seems like you think you need to be doing this, and unless you're independent, then you don't really know what you need to be doing. So, and maybe you just need to start here, and independence is a mindset. At the same time, if you're coming home and somebody's there, or there's something expected of you from something, some source or something, that's just unnecessary weight that I feel like we have to counterbalance. And counterbalance takes energy, when we're trying to just work towards, like what we wish for. Um, when you should be able to just close your eyes and meditate, and then naturally be uh, reminded within yourself of what you truly should be working towards. So yeah, it's different, because there's some days where I just don't value the hunger like I did the day before, and I don't think it's bad, but it's kind of disheartening sometimes, because you have these ambitions, and it's, I think the biggest thing to take is from, like, we don't talk about the things we want. If we really wanted it, we would just be it. We would have it. We would have even the level 1 foundation of it, which because I feel like, oh, so let me just share with you my ambitions and things I want to do, and it's like, okay, why don't you just share with us the things that you're doing, and we'll just understand that that's the thing you want to do. And then why is there a we involved? So there's always some audience in your ambitions. So it's different, especially being in a culture of this whole, like, this is the way it is. This is how people have made it work for them. I say culture of comparison. I've always learned slower. I say not learned slower. It's just that I value things as I should. So if something doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of me living how I wish to, it's not going to really hold any weight in my heart. So it's not going to stick with me. And so you'll often find yourself talking with people that have completely different values, and it's almost a distraction, because it's that counterbalance weight or value. Like, it's the counterbalance energy that has to be spent. So it's like, maybe it's not best that I just find myself around this individual because I'm not trying to explain myself first off, or have to act like something that doesn't matter matters. So there's that. Yeah, right now it's this, like, battle of thinking I need things and realizing I don't. Because right now I could start with what I have and become something I wish to. Though there's these, like, professional curiosities that I have. So by doing it we can learn more. But I think the only way that I want to be able to deserve, let's say, higher education or whatever, like, the only higher education I feel like I can taste and respect is, like, a conversation with Skrillex. But even then, what? It won't matter. You meet somebody, you chat with them, they live their life, you live yours, your ambitions remain. So you can share what your ideas are, just like you would with anyone else. Like, oh, that's cool. You know? So it's like, only actions are going to do any kind of true communications for us. And that's fun. Although it's a unique challenge in a sense of, it's something I'm not used to doing as an artist. Finding the value for myself as to why to share stuff with others. I don't fancy the wait. Like a rent cost or some expense that maybe I, prior to just, like, living, accepted, so that my tomorrow now has some kind of, like, hey, by this time I'll be this, you guys. And then, like, I go to sleep and wake up and I'm like, fuck, I did say that. Yesterday's me, you were a fool. Why you gotta do this to me? And it's like, how many days are you gonna go by doing that to where you're, like, placing value on what you said, or, like, even saying in the first place? So yeah, that's why I've really valued just being the real deal, and working on mastery the way I wish to. But it's really easy to not pick up Ableton for the day. I'll tell you that right now. It's really easy to not fucking DJ music for the day. That's absolutely true. It's easy to not pick up the guitar. It's easy to not sing. All these things, Ableton kind of aside, I don't feel comfortable doing in my environment. I don't like strumming my guitar, making sure the time's right so I can play, to respect the people that might be around me. I can't see through the walls. I'm in an apartment complex, but it bothers me. I just don't enjoy being around other people when I want to be openly expressive to whatever extent. And yeah, so it's like, okay, I value independence and being alone in my own place. And that variable, it's just like, it's like, oh, now I need that before I can begin properly. So I'm like, by virtue of being here and having that, like, belief, like that value set, like I say belief system, now I'm essentially shooting myself in the foot to, like, now be believing, well, if I believe that I need to be alone to be able to, like, articulate things the way I need to, that I know I can, or maybe I need to practice to best execute something that I understand that I can do because I've tested my capacities alone to really be inspired in the first place, to maybe grow them and nurture them. Excuse me. Sweet. So now, by just believing that there is value in that, I'm also now believing naturally through that belief as a byproduct that my current situation isn't good enough for me to express at that level. And it's a weird challenge, I think, as an independent artist. I don't say as an independent artist, as me thinking how I wish to go about things. So that's one thing I'm kind of challenged with currently. And I don't know how much of a distraction it is, but it's like, it's a distraction as long as you, until you don't have the money to buy your own home. Because, like, I'm not going to work a job, because I really respect my own time enough to say no to something like that. I've been employed and I've tasted enough to understand why independence is the only thing worth focusing on. So there is that. Yeah, just a challenge, I guess, and then kind of traversing this world of, like I'm supposed to be validated by numbers and popularity and social leverage. The world's fake. I mean, you can be great and have, like, share your mastery and gain traction and attract people that actually fancy what you're doing, and maybe that could be enough passive leverage to afford you a summon to be able to then express what you can do or what you do. And that's really cool. And I think when you begin, that's great. But if I'm not at that oneness with my expression of art, then I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to deserve anything. So I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot, staying where I'm at. I thought this was independence, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's prison, and I'm paying for it. And time doesn't come back. So there's that. And I think youth is kind of a hot iron, in a sense, that we need strike to form into the weapon we wish to use. And I'm not saying, oh, as we grow older, the metal cools, because your inspiration heats the metal. Your independence heats the metal. And I think those two things can really help us craft our way out of any situation and into whatever world we wish to live in for ourselves. And yeah, so there's that. And it's different, because I guess people experience stuff around you that you think you want to be doing, but, like, does it just look cool as a YouTube video? You know, you can watch all the paintball montages and drift racing stuff in the world, but actually I can't say that I don't want to do both of those, because that'd be kind of interesting. I enjoy it. But how much are we just inspired by entertainment versus by, like, our own soul? So I've been kind of more attached to that whole self-inspiration thing. And I think, well, I don't meditate maybe as much as I should, because I think that would grant me all the answers that I'm after. And I think everyone, if they meditated, would naturally relax into who they most wish to be, which is just who they are already. So there's that. I think the challenge lies within the expression, and then feeling that we need to transmute that expression into a professional service of sorts. So Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I've been living here for quite a few months now. I'm not sure when the last vlog when I moved in was, but I'm over it and I'm ready to move on. Where to? Probably nice cozy cabin until I figure it out for myself. And yeah, that's really it. Um, I wish to be on Twitch. I think it'd be cool to live stream for people, doing what I just wish to do, and have that for myself as maybe an outlet. Then I have this dependency of maintaining whatever it costs to have such a say a lifestyle, because it costs to pursue things and to build um, and create. It costs the ability to afford yourself the time for the practice and the study. Uh, so so yeah, and I think that yeah, we compromise our ambitions by accepting certain things that maybe we're not ready for. Not say not ready for. I mean, I've lived with someone else before, and it's completely fine because like, you get along, you live together. But the real cost is sacrificing your independence and your freedom to express yourself. Um, well, you could sing Spice, do whatever you want, do what you need to do, get the job done where you are. I don't want to. I simply don't wish to. I don't wish to be that here. And it's no like more complicated than that. That's it. That's how it goes. And I feel like I'm just draining what resources I've afforded myself uh, to be able to even experience this, and sacrificing it for this kind of compromise that's it seems to cripple my ambitions or my goals. So yeah, um, there is that. So I think that's just a challenge we all face, and maybe more people get cozier with it than usual. Um, so I just wish to be alone, like really alone for a while, as long as I wish to, until I crave not being alone, and then be drawn to it. I just want to be drawn to the things that I know I wish to be, and or work at or show up for. And right now, I feel like I just don't feel drawn to it. I feel distracted by the things that I thought I needed to be the person I wish to be. And again, maybe me looking at this independence route is that same thing. So it's like a weird pitfall. Uh, but yeah, I just understand how I feel daily, and just waking up and being like, I have coffee is not, it's only so much for so long. So yeah, um, I don't really know what else there is to say about it. I'm ready to move on, and that's kind of neat. So, gonna do that. See, that's the me saying something. It's pointless to talk about. Ignore it. Just was like sharing how I feel about something and kind of bottling it up. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. That's kind of where I'm at. Growing, learning, um, creating, sharing. Uh, that's it. Working at my life the way I wish to, at the pace I wish to. And I fancy that. And not forcing or pushing myself in any direction, rather allowing myself to be pulled towards what I wish to focus on, is kind of my most modern value set. So, yeah, passively flowing into the me I need to be for myself. And that's where I'm at. So, a little update for anyone out there that cares. Thanks for checking in. And yeah, I'll chat with you whenever I next do. Farewell. There we go.